Hold still, baby, I'm almost done. Amanda scrunched her nose and giggled. I'm a kitty cat, mommy. You're the cutest kitty on Sycamore Lane. I dipped the brush into the black paint and drew whiskers on her cheeks. Quick little flicks. Okay, now the nose. She wiggled, and I laughed. Amanda, stop moving or you'll look like a raccoon. I like raccoons. Of course you do, I smiled. But I don't have gray paint, so you're stuck being a cat. She stared at herself in the handheld mirror with enormous blue eyes. Can I go show Daddy when he gets home? Yes, but first I grabbed my phone and took a quick picture. There, now I can remember this forever. I want to go outside. She bounced on her toes. Can I do chalk, please? Please. Go ahead. Stay in the driveway. Okay, I'll be right here. She burst through the front door like a pink rocket, the screen slamming shut behind her. I watched her run barefoot onto the pavement, already uncapping the chalk container with those tiny fingers. I turned back inside, feeling that warm, fizzy kind of joy only little kids can give you. The kind that fills your chest and makes everything else seem small. My phone buzzed. Client call to 337 p.m. I glanced at the kitchen clock. Just a few minutes I slid into the desk nook, pulling up the brochure markups. Hello, Sabrina. Hey, it's Jared from Bridge and Shore. I had a few thoughts on the third panel layout. Yep, I'm looking at it now, I said, flicking through my design files. Let's walk through it together. He started rambling about fonts and bleed margins. My eyes flicked to the window once, catching a flash of Amanda's blonde hair as she knelt to draw something big and swirly in pink. I smiled, then focused on the screen. You still there? Jared asked. Yep, just pulling up the hex code. I think that teal might be a little too cold for the mood board. 5 minutes, maybe 7, we wrapped up. I closed my laptop, stretched my back, and padded toward the kitchen again. Carrots. I needed to peel carrots. The water was already running when I heard the familiar sound of Rodney's car pulling into the driveway. The engine cut. The driver door opened. I smiled. He stepped inside, tossing his keys into the ceramic bowl. Hey, he called. Where's Manda? She's outside, I replied, grabbing a towel to dry my hands. She's been doing chalk for the last I stopped. Rodney looked at me. I looked at the window. Empty rod. I felt the air drop out of my lungs. She was right there. Maybe she's around the back, he said quickly, already stepping outside. Amanda. I ran after him, the door slamming behind me. Honey, where are you? We circled the house like lunatics. Backyard, empty, swing set, still, sandbox, covered. Rodney peered behind the bushes. I checked under the porch. Nothing. Check inside. I yelled. She wouldn't have come in. He shouted back. You were inside, weren't you? I only stepped away for the call, Rodney. It was 5 minutes, I swear. We ran next door. Mr. Henderson blinked at us, the hose still in his hand. You lose something. Have you seen Amanda? I asked, breathless. Pink shirt, she's got face paint on. He looked startled. No, just came out to water the petunias. We crossed to the house across the street. The TV was on inside. No one answered. Rodney ran his hands through his hair. Sabrina, she was right here. Right here, I pointed, heart thudding against my ribs. She was drawing. She didn't even go near the sidewalk. I watched her. He looked down at the colorful scribbles still etched into the concrete, a big smiling sun, a purple heart, a cat's face, Amanda's cat, Sabrina. His voice dropped. No. I shook my head. No, don't say it. We need to call. My knees buckled slightly, and I gripped the side of the house to stay upright. I only turned away for call 911 right now. My fingers were shaking so hard I could barely type. My voice cracked as I gave the address. Within minutes, the first cruiser pulled up, blue and red lights strobing across our lawn like some terrible carnival. The officer stepped out. Young Tom, she's 4, I said before he even asked. Amanda Hart. Blonde hair, pink long-sleeve sweatshirt. She had a cat face paint. I painted it. Rodney stood stiff beside me. She was playing right there. She couldn't have gotten far. Any chance she wandered off? The officer asked gently. No, I snapped. She wouldn't. She's scared of the woods. She never goes near the street. He nodded and radioed in the description. Another unit arrived. Then another. Yellow tape appeared like magic. Flashlights. Dogs. The world blurred. Then came the handler with the hound. We need something that smells like her, he said. I raced inside and tore through her laundry bin, grabbed a sock. It smelled like baby, shampoo and dirt and Amanda. The dog sniffed it and gave one short wag. It moved down the driveway, nose pressed to the ground. Everyone followed like gravity had shifted. Amanda's chalk drawings watched silently. The hound reached the edge of the pavement. The handler paused. The dog wind-circled, sniffed again, then looked up at him. No trail. Rodney asked. The handler nodded grimly. Trail ends here. Ends where? I stepped forward. Right here. No scent across the street. No sidewalk path. Just ends. I stared at the blacktop. It's like she vanished. Someone whispered. My mouth moved, but no sound came out. My chest felt like it was folding in. I had been inside for 7 minutes. Maybe 10, maybe more. How long does it take to pick up a child and drive away? Rodney wrapped an arm around me, but it didn't feel real. She was just, I looked at the chalk again. She was just here. I looked up and saw the sun setting behind the houses and Amanda was gone. Amanda, Rodney's voice was ragged, already hoarse. I ran to the backyard again, breath burning my throat. She's not back here, I shouted. Not in the bushes, not in the sandbox. He darted past me. Check the neighbor's yard again. I cut across the lawn and banged on Mr. Henderson's door. He opened with a watering can in one hand. Something wrong. Have you seen Amanda? She was just outside, blonde, pink sweatshirt, face paint. His eyes widened. No, I've been in the garden. Didn't see anything. She couldn't have just vanished, I mumbled, already stepping away. She was here 10 minutes ago, Rod, I screamed as I ran back. Nothing, no one saw anything. He jogged up from the opposite direction. I checked both sides. Nobody's seen her. I looked at him. What do we do? His face tightened. Call 911. My hands shook as I dialed. Yes, my daughter's missing. 4 years old Amanda Hart. She was playing in the driveway. She's gone. I gave the address, forcing the words past the rising lump in my throat. They're sending someone, I whispered. They said stay put. Rodney gritted his teeth. We wait. No, I snapped. We look, we keep looking. We split again. I checked every corner behind the trash bins inside the garage. Under the porch, nothing. Nothing. The world had gone still. A cruiser pulled up, lights spinning silently. A young officer stepped out. You, the parents. Yes, Rodney spoke first. She was here, right here in the driveway. When did you last see her? Maybe 15 minutes ago, I said quickly. I was in the kitchen. She was playing with chalk. I looked out the window. She was there. Then I took a call. Maybe 7 minutes. Maybe my voice broke. Okay, the officer said calmly. Name, age, clothing. Amanda, 4 years old. Pink long-sleeve sweatshirt, blue shorts, cat whiskers on her face. She has blonde hair, Rodney added. Pigtails, white sneakers. Another car pulled in, and another. Neighbors started to gather. Is everything okay? Someone called missing kid. Another whispered. Mr. Henderson stepped forward. I saw a white van, about 20 minutes ago, just slowly driving by. Didn't think anything of it. Details, the officer asked. No plate, no markings, just white older model driver. I didn't see. Rodney clenched his fists. That's something, right? The officer gave a nod, speaking into his radio. I turned toward the street. She couldn't have gotten far, I murmured. Sabrina. What if someone grabbed her? What if Sabrina? Rodney took my shoulders. We don't know anything yet. I pulled away, eyes scanning the road. I should have gone with her. I should have. This is not your fault. Fourth car pulled up, a K9 unit. A brown bloodhound jumped down from the back seat, ears flopping, handler in tow. I need something that smells like her, he said. I didn't wait. I ran inside, tripping over the threshold, and tore through Amanda's hamper. A sock, still soft, still hers. I handed it to the handler with trembling fingers. He crouched, holding it near the dog's nose. Find her, Rocco, he said gently. The dog's tail thumped once. He sniffed the air and began trotting toward the driveway. We all followed. My pulse thudded in my ears. Rocco paused near the chalk drawings. Amanda's son, her cat face, her stars. He circled, nose down, then moved forward to the edge of the pavement. He stopped. The handler frowned. Rocco. He gestured. Rocco sat. That's it, I whispered. He looked up at me. Trail ends here. No. My knees buckled. No, she didn't go in a car. She didn't. There's no continuation, he said quietly. No trail across the street. It ends right here. Rodney stepped beside me. A car. The handler nodded once. She didn't scream. I said, numb. No one heard anything. She was right here. Can you keep looking? Rodney asked, voice strained. We'll keep searching, sir. But this tells us a lot. Another officer approached the handler. We're expanding the grid. Command post en route. The air was thick with radios, shouting, neighbors whispering. I stood there, still barefoot, staring at the chalk dot. Her son was smiling. Her stars were crooked. The pink chalk heart had one line broken down the middle. She was just here. I said again. No one responded. Rodney stepped behind me and wrapped his arms around my shoulders. I didn't hear anything, I whispered. The sirens faded in behind us and Amanda was gone. You said she was alone for how long? 10 minutes, maybe 12. I rubbed my thumb along the edge of the paper cup. The coffee inside had gone cold. Could it have been longer? I don't know. I looked up at the detective across the table. His face was blank. I wasn't timing it. I took a phone call. I came back. She was gone. He nodded slowly. What was the call about? My client, a brochure, fonts and color palettes. Could we get the call logs? Yes, whatever you need. Did anyone else have access to your home? No. No family, no friends stopping by. No. Rodney sat beside me, his knee bouncing like a piston. Why does any of this matter? Just building a full picture, the detective said calmly. It's standard. She didn't run away, I snapped. She's 4. She doesn't even cross the sidewalk without asking. We're not suggesting that. I leaned forward. Then what are you suggesting? We just want to understand everything about that window of time. I looked at him dead in the eye. 20 minutes. He gave a slow nod. Right, we're suspects, I whispered the moment we stepped out of the station. We're not, Rodney said. They have to rule everyone out. They separated us, Rod. They do that with everyone. They think I let her go. You didn't. I pressed my palms to my eyes. I should have been watching. You stepped away to work. That's not a crime. I looked away. That's all it took. The chalk was still on the pavement. I sat on the porch watching the wind slowly erase her drawings. Rodney came out holding a folder. What's that? I asked. Incident summaries. The detective dropped them off. There's something you should see. He flipped it open. Neighbor statement. Mr. Henderson, the garden guy. Rodney nodded. Says he saw a white van pass by around the time Amanda disappeared. My chest tightened. A van. Older, no logos, driving slow. License plate. Rodney shook his head. Didn't catch it. Driver. No description. Color, white. Just white, I repeated, staring at the driveway. A ghost. He closed the folder. It's something. It's nothing. Sabrina, no details, no direction, no face. It's fog. He sat beside me. It means she didn't just wander off. I already knew that. Reporters knocked 3 times that week. The first time, I didn't answer. The second, I slammed the door. The third, I let them in. I don't want a camera, I said. No camera. The woman replied, holding a notepad. We just want to help share Amanda's story. She's not a story. Of course not. She's a child. We just want to get the word out. I swallowed fine. What do you want to know? Can you describe the last time you saw her? She had face paint, a pink sweatshirt. She was smiling, that's all. Was she alone? She was in the driveway. For how long? I stared at her. Just a rough estimate. 10 minutes, I said coldly. Maybe 20. She nodded, scribbling furiously. Would you describe yourself as a hands-on parent? What? Do you supervise her closely? Generally speaking. I stood. Interviews over. The article dropped the next day. Vanished in plain sight. How did a toddler disappear from her own driveway? My photo was next to Amanda's, cropped from a Facebook profile. They quoted me, used my exact words. She had face paint, a pink sweatshirt. She was smiling, that's all. Below it, Hart admits her daughter was unsupervised for maybe 20 minutes while she worked on a client call. Rodney threw the paper in the trash. I'm going to sue them, he said. You won't. They made it sound like they didn't make it sound like anything, I whispered. They just wrote it down. The next knock was from the FBI. 2 suits, one tall, one shorter, professional, cold. We're escalating the case, the tall one said. It meets criteria for a possible abduction. Possible, I asked. We don't want to make assumptions. But the scent trail ending so suddenly it ended in the street, I interrupted. The dog stopped at the edge of the driveway and didn't move. What else do you need? We're pursuing all leads, the short one said. Do you remember seeing anyone unusual in the neighborhood recently? No. Anyone new? A contractor? Delivery vehicle? Repair crews? No. Anyone who lingered too long? I shook my head. No one. We've pulled traffic footage from nearby intersections. Nothing conclusive so far. We're also reviewing cell tower pings from devices in the area. Rodney asked. Is that helping? Too early to say. Have you found the van? I asked. We've flagged every white van in a 30-mile radius, the short one said. Any matches? Dozens, the tall one replied. None solid. At night, I lay in bed replaying it. The way her little feet slapped the pavement, her laugh, her chalk drawings, and then nothing, like someone took an eraser to the world. I dreamt of white vans, faceless drivers, streets that stretched into infinity. Rodney rolled over one night and said, You're holding your breath. I'm afraid if I breathe, I whispered, I'll forget the sound of her voice. You won't. I already can't hear her laugh. He reached for me. She's still out there. You don't know that. I believe it. I want to, I whispered, but I keep thinking. What if I just missed something? What if she screamed and I didn't hear? What kind of mother doesn't hear her child scream? Rodney didn't answer. He just held my hand until the sun came up the next week. Our mailbox overflowed with letters. Some were kind. We're praying for you. Stay strong. Don't give up. Some were not. You should be arrested. Where were you really? You let her die. I stopped checking the mail after that. Rodney burned half the pile in the fireplace. I don't care what people say, he muttered. I do, I said. Because what if they're right? You did nothing wrong. I did nothing at all. The detective returned on Friday. We've hit a wall, he admitted. There's nothing else, Rodney asked. He shook his head. Not unless someone talks. They won't, I said. He looked at me. You'd be surprised. Guilt has a way of surfacing. We've had cases break wide open because someone finally snapped a neighbor, a coworker, an ex, Rodney asked. So what now? We issue a statewide bolo. Every white van we find, we stop, every single one. That's it. I asked for now. That night, I opened Amanda's closet and sat on the floor. I touched her shoes. I held her sweatshirt. I pulled out the pink one, the one from that day. I pressed it to my face and inhaled, and I screamed into the fabric until I couldn't breathe. Can we take it down now? Rodney asked quietly, pointing to the flyer on the fridge. No, Sabrina, no. I stared at Amanda's face. Pink sweatshirt, painted whiskers, blurry smile. Rodney exhaled through his nose. It's been 6 weeks. She's still gone. I didn't mean don't. I turned away. Just don't. Every day I watch the same video, Amanda twirling in the backyard. Look, mommy, I'm a butterfly, you are, I'd say behind the camera. The prettiest one. She spun until she fell, laughing. I watched that clip 50 times a day. Do you want to eat something? Rodney asked. I'm not hungry. You haven't eaten since yesterday, I said. I'm fine. He hovered for a second, then left the room. The door clicked shut behind him. I pressed play again. Look, mommy, I'm a butterfly. I cleaned the chalk off the driveway myself. Every piece scrubbed the sun, the hearts, the little cat face she drew beside mine. Rodney stood by the garage, watching. You don't have to. It's fading anyway. I can help, I said. It's fading. I scrubbed until my hands bled. The living room was full of boxes, flyers, t-shirts, bracelets, all with Amanda's photo. You should try sleeping, Rodney said. I'm fine. You're not. I'm doing something. What are you doing? He flinched. That's not fair. I don't care. I turned back to the laptop, typing the caption. Missing, Amanda Hart, age 4. Last seen wearing pink long-sleeve sweatshirt. Portland or call with any info. Please share. They put her face on a billboard. I didn't cry until I saw it from the freeway. Slow down, I said. Rodney eased the car to the shoulder. I rolled down the window and stared at it. Amanda smiling, down over passing cars, a smile frozen in time. I whispered, come home. Rodney reached for my hand. I pulled it away. My mother called. Hi, sweetheart. I was just thinking. Stop. Stop what? Calling, pretending. You know what this feels like. I just want to help, then bring her back. People left candles on our lawn. Notes. Teddy bears. Some rang the doorbell, just to cry. One woman hugged me without asking. She's in God's hands now, she said softly. She's not dead. The woman blinked. Oh, I didn't mean she's not dead. I slammed the door. Rodney said nothing one night. He snapped. You have to stop living in the moment. She disappeared. I can't. You won't. She was ours. She still is. I looked at him then. Why do you look less broken than me? He stared. You think I'm not breaking? Show it. He walked out the front door and didn't come back until sunrise. Don't touch it, I yelled as he reached for the bedroom door. I was just going to air it out. No, Sabrina, no one goes in. It's been 2 months. She's coming back. He stepped back. Okay. I locked the door behind me that night. And every night after. Then the call came. A tip line volunteer knocked on the front door. A truck driver reported a sighting, she said. Southbound rest stop near the California border. What did he see? I asked, grabbing Rodney's arm. Little girl, blonde hair, pink shirt, French fries, a man in his 40s, nervous looking. Rodney's eyes went wide. That could be. They're pulling security footage now, she said. We'll update you. I couldn't breathe. Was she crying? I asked. I don't know. Was she resisting? They're still reviewing the was she wearing face paint? I'm sorry. I don't know. I slammed the door. We sat in silence for hours. Rodney held his phone, waiting for it to ring. I stared at the floor. When it finally buzzed, we both jumped. He answered. Yes, this is Rodney Hart. Yes, okay. I stood. He looked at me. It wasn't her. My knees buckled. You're sure? She looked like Amanda, but different shirt, different girl. Are they sure? She's home now, on a road trip with her family. I nodded slowly. Rodney sat down. I didn't. The search was officially suspended 3 days later. Corbin came to the door. We're not giving up, he said, but we're shifting focus. What does that mean? I asked. Less manpower, less field work. Will follow new leads as they come. So, nothing. He hesitated. It's a resource thing. We're still here. No, you're not, I whispered. You're moving on. Sabrina, do you have kids? He looked at me. Yes. Then don't tell me you're still here. That night I opened Amanda's door. It still smelled like her. I sat on the floor beside her bed. Her giraffe was lying sideways on the pillow. The nightlight was still plugged in. I picked up a favorite book and held it to my chest. I'm sorry, I whispered. I should have been watching. Still nothing, Rodney asked without looking up from his coffee. No. I hit refresh again. Last comment was 12 hours ago. A girl in Montana thought she saw her at a gas station. He rubbed his temple. Montana. Blonde kid, same age, eating a lollipop. That's the 6th one this month. I know. He stood. I'll grab the mail. I didn't move. The page reloaded. Find Amanda Hart, 98,727 followers, pinned post. 2 years. We're still searching. We won't stop. Hi, I'm Sabrina, I said into my phone, holding back tears. My daughter Amanda went missing 2 years ago. Please share this post. Please keep her face alive. I hit upload. The 5th video this week. You need to take a break, Rodney said that night. I did. I made soup. You didn't eat it. I'm not hungry. You're never hungry. I shut the laptop. Then stop asking. He stepped back. I'm just worried. Don't be. I'm fine. You're not. You haven't left the house in 4 days. She's still missing, Rodney. I know. No, you don't. You're living. I'm still in that day. I'm surviving. Sabrina, I whispered. I'm not. A knock at the door. It was Detective Corbin. Sorry for the surprise visit, he said. My heart stopped. Is it her? He held up his hands. Nothing confirmed. But we found something. Rodney appeared behind me. What is it? Corbin pulled out a photo. This was recovered in Mount Hood National Forest, remote restroom, seasonal facility. Maintenance worker found it yesterday while clearing a bathtub drain. He laid the picture on the table, a soaked, filthy bundle of clothes, a faded pink sweatshirt, blue shorts, tiny white underwear. My breath caught. Rodney leaned forward. Where was it exactly? An old ranger station toilet. Remote, no trail access. I stepped closer. My eyes locked on the sweatshirt. The left sleeve looked slightly warped. The cuff folded oddly. That tear, I whispered. That's the cuff she ripped on the porch rail. Rodney looked at me. I stitched it, I said, finger trembling as I pointed. White thread, look right there. Corbin zoomed in on his phone. Tiny neat stitching, I gasped. That's hers. That's Amanda's sweatshirt. Rodney sat down hard. Oh my God, I couldn't breathe. Could it have been planted? I asked hours later, curled on the couch. Corbin shook his head. Unlikely, that area hasn't been accessed in years. DNA? Rodney asked. The lab's working on it now. But it was submerged for a long time. How long? Preliminary look. Maybe over a year. But less than 2. So, I tried to keep my voice steady. Not from the day she disappeared. Correct. Rodney frowned. Then someone came back. Seems that way, I whispered. Why would they keep the clothes? Corbin didn't answer. The next morning I stared at the sweatshirt again on the screen. Rodney walked in slowly. Want coffee? I shook my head. It's her, Rod. I know it. I know. They tried to get rid of it. Flush it away like garbage. I know. I started to cry. It's all that's left of her. He knelt beside me. No, it's not. She's still somewhere. I want to believe that, then believe it. I'm scared to hope again. I'm not. The news broke that night. New clue in Amanda Hart case, the anchor announced. Children's clothing found in Mount Hood restroom may be linked to 2015 disappearance. They showed her photo again. Pink sweatshirt, face paint, cat whiskers. She was wearing that shirt. I whispered. That exact one. Rodney put his arm around me for the first time in months. I let him. Corbin called the next morning. The shirt's synthetic polyester blend. The fibers are consistent with prolonged exposure to stagnant water. I closed my eyes. But no DNA. None we can recover. Too degraded, Rodney asked. So what do? We start over. We look again, starting in the forest. I nodded. Then we're going to Sabrina. I need to. The trees swallowed us. We stood at the edge of the ranger station parking lot. Gravel, moss, silence. This is where they found it, I asked. Corbin pointed inside first stall. I walked slowly. The smell hit first, damp and mold. I stared at the toilet. They stuffed it down there. He nodded. Someone came here. They brought it all. Why not burn it? Rodney asked. Panic, shame, fear, I whispered. Or maybe they couldn't let go. Corbin looked at me. We're not stopping now. I nodded. Double quotes, thank you, I said. He lowered his voice. We're going to find who did this. And I believed him. Frank Miller, Corbin said, tapping the name on the folder. Lived 3 blocks from you in 2015. I squinted at the photo inside. I don't recognize him. Not many did, he muttered. Kept to himself. Worked odd jobs. Nothing serious on record. Rodney leaned over my shoulder. Then why him? Corbin flipped another page. Because his grandparents owned a cabin 5 miles from that restroom. My chest tightened. Mount Hood, he nodded. Private land, long abandoned. Was he interviewed back then? He was. Nervous, evasive, no alibi but no evidence either. Rodney frowned. And now we know someone went back. Hid those clothes. I whispered. And he had a place to hide. What are you looking for exactly? I asked, watching Corbin pack a small case. Anything, signs of activity. Trash, burn marks, clothing fibers, a footprint. Rodney crossed his arms. Wouldn't Rain have wiped all that out? Depends. We'll use luminol, blacklight, heat sensors. To want to go, I blurted. Corbin looked up. To the cabin? Yes. Rodney shook his head. Sabrina, I have to see it. Where he might have taken her. I need to feel it. I don't think that's. Corbin paused. You can come to the access road. But not inside. Deal. The forest was louder than I expected. Crows, wind, creaking trees. How much farther? I asked. Half a mile on foot, Corbin said. Cabin's just over that ridge. Rodney helped me over a fallen log. You okay? I'm fine. You're shaking. I want to see where she was. We stopped where the undergrowth thickened. Corbin turned. We'll go ahead. Wait here. I nodded, wrapping my arms around myself. Rodney whispered. What if she was in there all along? She was. He looked at me. I feel it, I said. They were gone 20 minutes. Then Corbin reappeared, face pale, holding something small. In a bag he handed it to me. A plastic cat-shaped hair clip. I gasped. Rodney whispered. Is that? She had 2, I said, staring at it. Blue and pink. That's the pink one. She wore it that day. Corbin lowered his voice. We found it under a loose floorboard. Closet, back room. Was there anything else? No, but this places her there. I sank to the ground. He took her there. He kept her in that place. Rodney knelt beside me. We'll get him. I held the bag to my chest. She loved that clip. She called it her meow barrette. Corbin looked away. Where is he now? I asked. Eastern Oregon. Small town, working at a motel. Under the radar he ran. He moved 6 months after Amanda vanished. Rodney stood. We need to arrest him. We need a warrant first. But this gives us cause. I looked up. What will you do? We'll surveil, build a timeline, confirm he hasn't moved again. And then we knock on his door. The motel looked like something out of a forgotten movie. Faded sign, 2 stories, cracked lot. That's him, Corbin said, adjusting the zoom on his binoculars. 3rd unit on the end. Goes to work, comes back, no visitors. Rodney watched through the windshield. You're sure he's the one? Corbin handed me the photo again. Same man, just older, scruffier. I stared. He didn't look like a monster. But monsters don't have horns. 3 days later, Corbin returned with a warrant. We're taking him tomorrow morning, quietly. I nodded. What if he runs? He won't. He doesn't even lock his front door. Rodney shook his head. How do people like this just live like nothing happened? Because they convince themselves they didn't do anything wrong. That arrest was quick. Corbin called that afternoon. He didn't fight, just looked empty. Did he say anything? No, not yet. Rodney paced behind me. Can we talk to him? No, but we'll get him talking. I whispered. He had her hair clipped. That's all I need. The interrogation room was small and cold. Corbin set a photo on the table. The clip. Frank Miller looked at it and started to cry. You recognize that? Corbin asked. He nodded. Where did you get it? Miller buried his face in his hands. Corbin waited. Finally a whisper. She dropped it when that day. Rodney stood abruptly. That's it. He did it. Corbin raised a hand. Let him talk. Miller's voice cracked. She was so small. I leaned forward. Why her? I didn't mean to. I saw her alone. I don't know what I thought. Corbin placed another photo down Amanda's smiling face. Miller sobbed. I didn't mean to kill her. My body went numb. Rodney cursed under his breath. Corbin stayed steady. Where is she? In the forest, Miller whispered. Near the cabin, a fallen log. I buried her there. I covered my mouth. Rodney stared at him. You buried a child like trash. Miller looked at me. I'm sorry. No, I whispered. You don't get to say that. Is he talking? I asked the second Corbin stepped into the hall. No, not yet. Rodney stood beside me, arms folded. How long have you had him in there? 3 hours. Denial phase. Classic. I stared at the closed interrogation room door. Show him the clip. Corbin nodded. That's next, Mr. Miller, Corbin said calmly, placing a sealed evidence bag on the metal table. Do you recognize this? No. Look closely. I said no. Corbin tapped the plastic. It was found beneath a floorboard in your family's cabin. Miller stared at it so. Corbin leaned in. It belonged to Amanda Hart. He flinched. Still nothing. Miller swallowed. I didn't hurt her. You just buried her. I didn't mean. Tell me what happened. Miller's voice cracked. She was drawing. I didn't plan it. I swear I didn't plan it. I pressed my hand to the glass. Rodney whispered. He's cracking. Corbin stayed quiet. Miller kept going. She was alone. No one around. It just happened. What did Corbin asked. I stopped the van, opened the side door. She looked up and smiled. I thought maybe she thought I was someone else before she screamed. I grabbed her. I couldn't breathe. She kicked. Miller whispered. She kicked hard, but I got her in. Drove to the cabin. He nodded. It was all I had. Corbin waited. I didn't know what to do. She kept crying, wouldn't eat. I tried to calm her down. Rodney muttered. He tried. Miller's hands trembled. Second night she got out, screamed. I panicked. I chased her. She was running toward the woods. Corbin's voice was quiet, and I grabbed her. She screamed louder. I covered her mouth. I said, stop, please stop, but she wouldn't, and then I just held on too long. Rodney turned away. I didn't want to hurt her, Miller sobbed. I just wanted it quiet. I stared at him. You wanted it quiet, I whispered. Corbin asked, what happened next? She went limp. I knew she was gone. I screamed. I didn't even know I was screaming. Then what? I wrapped her in a towel, buried her east of the cabin, under a log. It was raining, and the clothes, I kept them. I don't know why. I couldn't throw them away. I stuffed them in a bag. Why the restroom? I thought someone might go to the cabin, a hunter. Maybe I got scared. So I took them to that old ranger toilet. Thought they'd disappear, and they didn't. He nodded. Blocked the drain. Rodney whispered. Goddamn. Later, in office, I sat holding the evidence bag in my lap. Are you okay? He asked. No. Rodney sat beside me. What happens now? We recover the remains. I looked up. You're sure? They're there. He gave us the location. He drew a map. GPS coordinates. Rodney's voice shook. Do we go with you? Corbin hesitated. You can, but I won't take you to the exact site. I need to be close. He nodded. Okay. The forest felt darker that day. Thicker. Rodney held my hand as we waited near the edge of the clearing. Corbin's team moved silently in the distance. I heard digging. I heard silence. Then a voice. We've got something. Rodney, Tensed. Corbin walked toward us slowly, hat in his hand. He stopped 2 feet from me. I didn't ask, he said gently. We found her. I dropped to my knees. Rodney caught me as I fell. Do you want to sit closer? Rodney asked, gently touching my hand. No, you. Sure, I want to see his face. But not too close, he nodded, adjusting his tie. Opening statements are today. I know. The courtroom was colder than I expected. Clean to bright. Rodney whispered. That's him. I didn't look. Not yet. The bailiff called the court to order. The defense stood first. Mr. Miller is not a monster, his attorney said. He is a man with limitations. A man who panicked. I stared at the table in front of me. He didn't wake up that day intending to harm anyone, she continued. This wasn't premeditated. This was impulse, fear, and a tragic accident. Rodney whispered, "She's trying to make him small. She's trying to make him disappear." I replied, "Mr. Miller suffers from significant social and cognitive impairments." The lawyer continued, "We ask that you consider manslaughter, not murder." My hands curled into fists. The prosecutor stood, calm, controlled. Amanda Hart was 4 years old, she said. She had blue eyes, blonde hair, and a pink sweatshirt. I looked up. She was loved. She was happy. She was safe until he took her. Miller stared down at the table. She did nothing wrong. She was drawing, that's all. Rodney's jaw tightened. He took her, held her, silenced her, buried her. A pause, and when guilt caught up with him, he tried to flush her away. The room was still, he cried. The defense said the next day. He broke down in that room. He cried for himself. I whispered. Rodney murmured, "They're begging. I don't care." A doctor testified. Low IQ. History of emotional detachment. Struggles with impulse control. Did he know right from wrong? The prosecutor asked. Yes, that's all. We sat through every photo. Amanda's shirt, her hair clip, the shallow grave. Rodney leaned forward, hands trembling. I didn't move. Miller never looked at us. Not once. Rodney whispered, "He can't. He won't. I wish he would." Why? So I know he sees us. Day 4. The prosecutor held up the bagged sweatshirt. This is what he tried to erase. I swallowed. This pink sweatshirt was her last cry for justice. The room went silent. Rodney's eyes filled. I didn't blink. She wore it the day she vanished. Her mother stitched that cuff. I nodded once. He thought it would disappear in a drain. But it didn't. It stayed. It told us where to look. And we found her. I whispered, "Thank you." The jury left to deliberate. Rodney asked, "Do you think they'll convict?" "Yes." "You're sure?" "Yes." "What if he confessed? They saw her clothes. They saw what he did." He looked down. "And if they don't, then the world's worse than I thought." We waited 5 hours. Rodney paced. I sat still. Corbin appeared in the back, nodded. "They're ready," he said. I stood. "Let's finish this." The jury filed in. The foreman stood. "We, the jury, find the defendant, Frank Miller, guilty on all counts." Rodney let out a breath like a wave breaking. I closed my eyes. The judge nodded. "Sentencing to follow. Life without parole." Silence. Then chairs shuffled. Reporters scribbled, but I stayed still. Rodney whispered, "It's done." I shook my head. "No, it's decided. Not done." Outside the courthouse, microphones waited. "Sabrina, do you feel justice was served?" "No." "Do you have anything to say to Mr. Miller?" I stared into the cameras. "You buried a child and called it panic. You flushed her clothes and called it fear. You're not a victim. And now you're just forgotten." Rodney and I sat in the car in silence. "Want to go home?" he asked. "No." "Where then?" "Anywhere else." He started the engine. That we drove away. I never looked back. "Are you sure?" Rodney asked, holding the pen just above the dotted line. "Yes." He looked at me. "You don't want to walk through one more time?" I shook my head. "No." He signed. The realtor smiled politely, slid the papers back into a folder. "It's official. The buyers take possession next Friday." "Let them have it," I said quietly. "Let them start over." The house was almost empty. Rodney leaned in the doorway. "Do you want to take the growth chart?" "No." "But her height marks. I memorized them." He hesitated. "The blue crayon on the wall. Leave it." "The giraffe lamp." "No." I stood in Amanda's doorway staring at the blank walls. He walked over slowly. "We could take the curtains. They were hers. They stay." "Rodney." "Decide what do we take then?" I picked up her favorite book from the floor. "Only what we can carry." "Why the coast?" he asked on the drive. "I want to hear waves." He glanced at me. "You hate sand." "I want quiet." "It's never really quiet by the ocean." "Good." We rented a small house near the dunes. 2 bedrooms. Toys. No pink. Rodney unpacked boxes while I sat on the back steps and watched the sea. "Looks different here," he said. "It's supposed to." We found the park on our 3rd day. Just off a quiet road. Wooden swings. Bright yellow slide. An old climbing whale. Rodney rested his hand on my back. "This is it." I nodded. "Here." "You sure?" "Yes." He glanced at the open space near the walkway. "Bench goes there." "Facing the playground," he whispered. "Facing the life she never had." The carpenter delivered it a week later. Simple, dark wood, smooth finish. Brass plaque scented on the top slat. Rodney read it aloud. "In loving memory of Amanda Hart. May her light remind us to cherish every moment." I whispered. "That's all we can do now." A little girl ran past the bench the first time I sat on it. Her mother followed behind, laughing. Rodney sat beside me. "You okay? She looks like her." He nodded. The girl shrieked joyfully and jumped into the sandbox. Rodney whispered, "She's not Amanda, I know, but she's someone." I smiled faintly. "That's enough." The 3rd day, I came alone. Rodney stayed home fixing a window latch. I brought coffee. sat quietly. Watched a boy climb the whale and yell, "I'm the king of the sea." His sister clapped. Their father snapped a photo. I whispered, "Hold on to that one." One afternoon, a woman sat beside me. "You live around here?" "Just moved." She glanced at the plaque. "Amanda yours?" "Yes." It was beautiful. "She still is." She hesitated. "What happened?" "She was taken." "Oh," a pause. "I'm sorry. She's gone." "I'm still sorry." We sat in silence, the wind rustling leaves above us. Finally she asked, "Do you believe in heaven?" "I believe in playgrounds." Rodney handed me a newspaper one morning. Miller's appeal was denied. Good, he waited. "You don't want to read it?" "No." "Why not?" "He doesn't live here." He nodded. "Neither do we." I brought chalk to the park on Amanda's birthday, drew a pink sun on the edge of the path. Too small. Hearts one bigger one. A little girl noticed. "Can I draw too?" "Of course." She sat beside me and drew a blue cat. I smiled. "She would have loved that." "Who?" "My daughter." The girl looked up. "Where is she?" I pointed to the bench. "She's everywhere." Rodney found me on the porch that night. "You've been quiet." I was thinking about how much we left behind and how much followed us. He sat. "The quiet's different here." Louder. Somehow he took my hand. "Still want to stay?" I looked at him. "There's a bench with her name on it. I'm not going anywhere." Some days I still wake up expecting her giggle, still reach for her cereal bowl, still turn when I hear the word mummy. Rodney never says her name unless I say it first, but I say it every day, quietly, to the sea, to the sky, to the bench, to Amanda. One morning, I watched a little girl fall from the slide. Her father ran, scooped her up. She cried hard, but she was okay. They hugged, laughed, kept playing. I watched them, eyes full, heart heavy, and still somewhere in all of that I smiled.